Before I started dating the girl who's now my girlfriend, I naturally wanted to know if she liked me. And if I had known for sure, it would have made things a whole lot easier. Getting to know her would have been a lot less stressful because I wouldn't have had been constantly trying to read into every sign, every text message, and every little thing she did. At the time, I had never really dated before, so I was doing a lot of guessing. I'd overanalyze her words, her actions, and every interaction we had, trying to figure out if she was interested or not. So in the next bit of time we have, I want to help you avoid some of that confusion, whether you're a guy trying to figure out if a girl likes you, or you're just wondering if someone is interested in you. I'll walk through some of the signs and signals that may show a girl likes you back. But before we get into any of the actual signs, flirting, body language, texting habits, and all of that, you have to give her the opportunity to show interest. To make it simple, a girl can't like you if she doesn't know you exist. That means you need to make yourself more present, introduce yourself, start a conversation, or just put yourself in an environment where the two of you can actually get to know each other. Now, I know that sounds scary, but if you can't even have a conversation with her, you're not going to make much progress. I'm not saying you need to have a perfect pickup line or some crazy confident approach. You just need to create an opportunity for interaction. Because until that happens, nothing else can happen. You can't find out whether she likes you. You can't figure out whether you even like her. You can't learn about her values, her personality, what she enjoys doing, or even what she believes in. None of that happens until you actually get to know her. I think a lot of us build this up so much in our heads that it creates this massive bubble of anxiety. But at the end of the day, you're just talking to another human being. The same way you talk to your friends, your family, your coworkers, or even your classmates, you can talk to her in that same way. Right now, she's not your girlfriend. She's not your wife, of course. She's simply a girl you have a crush on. And that's okay. That makes you human, and that makes this whole situation normal. But eventually, you're going to have to talk to her. The good news is that once you do, you finally give her a chance to show whether she's interested in you too. Otherwise, you'll stay stuck guessing. Maybe she doesn't know you exist. Maybe she does know you exist and even has a crush on you from a distance. Either way, if neither of you creates an opportunity to interact, nothing is ever going to develop. And here's something important to remember. As nervous as you are about talking to her, there's a good chance she's nervous about talking to you too. So focus on creating opportunities to be around her, getting to know her, and having genuine conversations. Everything else starts there. Now, hopefully at some point you actually get the chance to talk to her and get to know her a little bit. Maybe you're sitting at the same lunch table, in the same class, working on a group project, or maybe you just say hi when you pass her desk at work. Depending on what stage of life you're in, all of these situations are fine. But once again, whatever situation you're in, you need some kind of interaction before you can start picking up on whether she's interested. And honestly, that's all you really need. Of course, I want things to work out. I want her to like you back, and I want you guys to ride off into the sunset together. But sometimes that just doesn't happen, and that's okay. Especially when it comes to crushes or people you don't really know very well, things won't always work out. That's part of life. That said, there are definitely some signs that can help you figure out whether she's interested or not. One of the clearest signs that she's not interested, however, is if she quickly brings up the fact that she has a boyfriend. If she's taken, she's taken. There are plenty of other people out there. The important thing is to be respectful and to not try to push things any further. A lot of guys fall into this mindset of thinking that they can somehow win someone over. But the reality is that people that are in a healthy relationship, kind of like myself, we usually aren't considering anyone else as a dating option. They're focused on their relationship and progressing that, and we don't want to step on any of their toes. If that's the situation, it's best to back off and move on. Other signs she might not be interested as well is if she's very short in conversation, rarely responds, or seems eager to leave whenever you're talking to her. If she's consistently creating distance, avoiding conversation, or doesn't engage, those usually aren't great signs. It can be disappointing, but sometimes that's just the reality, and you've got to be willing to move forward. But now let's talk about some of the positive signs. A lot of the signs we miss are actually pretty simple. Is she making eye contact with you? Is she putting aside whatever she's doing to focus on the conversation? That's usually a good sign. Is she asking you questions? Is she trying to get to know you? Do you catch her looking at you a little longer than usual? Those can all be indicators that she at least has some level of interest. But beyond that, is she making an effort to spend time with you? Whether it's in class, at lunch, at work, or wherever you see each other, is she creating opportunities to interact with you? Is she trying to get your number or your Snapchat? Is she suggesting that you hang out sometime? When she starts making efforts to move the relationship beyond the environment where you normally see each other, that's usually a very good sign. It shows she doesn't just want the interaction to stay in that one setting. She wants to get to know you better. However, sometimes it's not that easy. Another category this applies to is just developed relationships. I'm not talking about the girl you see occasionally in class or pass in the hallway. I'm talking about the girl you've known for a while. Maybe she's part of your friend group. Maybe she's one of your closest friends. Maybe you've been in classes together for years, but now your feelings are starting to change. Those situations are a lot harder. The reason they're harder is because many of the basic signs we've already talked about don't help as much. She's probably already making eye contact with you frequently. You probably already texting her. You probably already have her number. You might already be texting regularly as well, hanging out and having conversations. That's normal because you've built a friendship or you've built a connection. So how do you figure out if she wants something more? Some of the earlier signs still can apply, but at some point you need to pay closer attention to things like flirting. Is she teasing you differently? Is she giving you more attention than other people? Is she finding reasons to spend time with you one-on-one in private environments? This is where things get complicated because neither person wants to ruin the friendship. There may be real feelings involved and both people are afraid of making things awkward. But here's the reality. Once you develop genuine romantic feelings for someone, the friendship has already changed. Whether you've admitted it out loud or not, in your heart, you're probably not looking at her as just a friend anymore. And that's hard. It's especially hard if you start realizing she may not feel the same. If it's obvious she's not interested, then you can try to move on, focus on someone else, or allow the friendship to return to as normal as possible. But often, it's not that clear. Sometimes you can't tell if she's interested, sometimes the signals are mixed, sometimes you think she's flirting but you're not completely sure, and that's okay. Not every situation comes with a giant flashing sign that tells you exactly how someone feels. Sometimes the only way to find out is to continue building the relationship, paying attention to how she acts around you, and eventually being willing to take a chance. Now, I've said a whole lot, and all of that being said, whether you've known her for a few weeks or a few years, reading the signs can be difficult. Sure, there are obvious signs. If she never responds to your texts and constantly blows you off, that's probably not a great sign. If she's texting you every day, asking questions, and trying to keep conversations going as much as possible, that's probably a good sign. We all know this, though. We all know flirting is usually a good sign. We know hearing "you're like a brother to me" is usually a bad sign. At a basic level, most of us can recognize when someone seems interested and when they don't. So if that's true, why are you still watching this video? Why are we still having this conversation in the first place? Why are you even clicking on this video if we know all those basic things? Because you don't know for sure. No matter how many signs someone gives you, you're never gonna have 100% certainty until they actually tell you. When I was getting to know the girl who's now my girlfriend, we sat next to each other in a college class. We'd talk before class, after class, during breaks, then we'd run into each other at other events and keep talking. She asked about my life, I asked about hers, we laughed together, we enjoyed being around each other. These all seemed like good signs. Eventually, we started spending time together outside of class. We went on walks, had conversations, and got to know each other better. Again, all good signs. But despite all of that, I still wasn't completely sure she liked me. Why? Because she never actually said it. And that's the reality that nobody likes to hear. The only way to truly find out if someone likes you is to ask. You can analyze every text message. You can overthink every conversation. You can study every smile, every laugh, and every interaction. But eventually there comes a point where you have to stop guessing and start acting. You have to ask her out. You have to say, "Hey, I'd love to grab coffee sometime." You have to give her the opportunity to say yes, and I know that's scary. Maybe she'll say no, maybe it'll be awkward, maybe you'll be embarrassed. But if you never ask, you'll never know. The truth is that you have a 0 chance of hearing yes if you never create the opportunity for a yes. That's why courage matters. Not because asking someone out guarantees success, but because it's the only way to get an answer. And trust me, this wasn't the first girl I ever asked out. There were times things didn't work out. There were times feelings weren't mutual, but this time they were. Today, I'm dating an amazing girl, and I'm seriously thinking about engagement and marriage in the future. None of that would have happened if I had just stayed wondering whether she liked me or not. It happened because I asked. So, let's go back to the title of this video. How do you know if a girl likes you? You can look at the signs. You can pay attention to her actions. You can notice the way that she talks to you, texts you, and spends time with you. But at the end of the day, the only way to know for sure is to ask. So stop sitting on the sidelines. Stop building up fear in your head. Stop admiring her from a distance. Go have a conversation, ask her out, in a smart way of course, see what happens, and you might be surprised by the answer. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I'm going to be making more content for people in their teens and 20s about navigating relationships, money, purpose, and navigating life. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.